Um, Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our session. Welcome to NWiC's Informational Interview Series 4. My name is Rasuka. I am a graduate student at UMass Amherst, and I'm studying data analytics and computational social science. A little brief introduction about NWiC. We are one of the Anita B Sisters affinity groups, and it was founded in November of 2019. It is an online community based in USA and also in Nepal. We aim to foster an encouraging and empowering community for Nepali women in tech and STEM field. We organize multiple programs, events to serve our community. So please keep an eye out and try to participate in them as well. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, so feel free to connect us there. And a little bit about the informational interview series. Informational interview series is an initiative that allows our members and participants to connect with successful STEM professionals like Diksha, our guest speaker today. Through this series, you'll learn about different career paths and get insights into journeys of established professionals and also discover roadmaps to your own career. So today our speaker is Diksha. A little bit about herself. Diksha is a senior data analyst working with Costco Partners, where she harnesses data to drive the business growth. Before joining as a senior data analyst, Diksha worked as a data scientist and a data engineer, where she contributed to enhancing stakeholders' insight and implementing forecasting models. She holds a master's degree in data science and analytics degree from Grand Valley State of University. And I would like to welcome you again. Thanks so much for joining. If you'd like to add a couple more things and introduce yourself to the group.
Sure. Thank you so much, Rasuka, for that introduction. And I'm really thankful to be here. And thank you for having me. I think, yeah, I really look forward to this session so that where I can share my some experience and tips for the data enthusiasts. So yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Happy to be here. Okay, so let's start with general Q&A questions. So given that you have a master's degree in data science and analytics, how did you get started in data analysis, and what led you to pick this career path?
I think that goes a bit long back. I'm actually a business student when I did my undergrad. So I was someone who really loved to, put theory into practical knowledge. So I think it was in my second year when I started my own online cosmetic business. And I think that was the time when I first learned about this data, how it's so important and how impactful it makes in our business decision making. So back then it was I didn't know much of programming language and all, so I was always doing my data analysis in Excel. So I think that's how it basically started and clicked me on how important data is. And then after my undergrad I worked as my role was mostly as a business analyst for 2.5 years there. So I think that was the time where I really realized how data really impacts business decision making to my stakeholders too. So that was the time when I started looking into business analytics course, and then came across this data science and analytics course at Grand Valley State and other different universities in the US as well. So I think that's where it started, and I then worked on it in regards to in terms of my master's application. I started working on different projects, building my programming skills, being a non-programmer back then. So I think that's how it started coming into this field of data analytics.
Wow, that's a range of
Yeah.
things that you've tried before, finally ending up as a senior data analyst. So ranging from those career paths and as well as in between where you were a business analyst, data analyst, and various other roles, how was the transition between going from a non-programmer to fully programming? How was the transition like? And you mentioned that you worked on a few projects, and how was that experience like as well?
Sure. I would say at the beginning it wasn't that of easy being literally a non-programmer, and I feel like having like a solid foundation in programming is very essential if you're like diving into this like field of data. And I really feel like there are like so many resources in internet, and but that like also led me towards like diving in the sea of all the resources, and I just like couldn't know where to get like started in terms of having like an impactful, like let's say, project, or like something I can like show about. So like I feel like when I like started working towards my own personal and professional growth in this field of data, I started with building like some basic foundation, like through taking courses from Coursera, Data Camp, Udemy. But I also like what I did, I think that was one of the mistake I did, was like, just like, studying the basic and not implementing into like project at the beginning of time. And then like initially I realized, how just like learning the things doesn't like make sense or doesn't help you remember. So what I did in my undergrad of implementing into like practical thing, I similarly did that same into like this data, my learning journey in data as well. So like whatever I learned through like Coursera, I implemented that into project. And to be honest, like projects were the really helpful thing that like helped me learn more on like using different programming language, using different technology, and also in knowing how to, use each one of that technology in different field of like whatever problem solving I'm trying to achieve. So I think like the transition across this like whole like different roles was like really helpful for me to actually understand, what goes behind the whole data life cycle. So I think, yeah, that was really helpful for me to learn.
I think I agree with that too. Even like with the classes that I'm taking, it's mostly like
Yeah.
theory based and not much of application. And also I really like that you took some time to learn programming and other stuffs from like outside source, like
Hmm.
Coursera, Code Academy, is it? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I've used that one before, and it's great.
Mhm.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
And aside from the technical skills, what soft skills do you think are also were important in your journey of like transition between each career?
Yep, I guess like in terms of soft skill, communication plays a very important role, and I cannot like stress that much how communication is so much important. So, just like talking about like if you're in an interview phase, like the first two interview session uh is basically with the HR and the hiring team, and that's where you have to use your communication skills to stand out. Although yeah, there is like projects you have done, but until and unless you go to like a technical round where you have to like do your SQL and Python and like data visualization thing, it's the earlier phase is mostly communication, how you present your insights and put together it effectively to because like there wouldn't always be a technical people you have to present your findings to. So how effectively you are able to communicate that to even like non-technical people is very important. And other than that, I would say problem solving skills, how strategically you can like think of that. And I guess like I do have like prepared some of the slides for that, which I would like to dive more deep in a bit later, because that is like one of the question I really get a lot in my LinkedIn DMs. I think I'll take that opportunity to dive a bit in terms of like skills that is very important as a data professional.
Mhm.
So we can like go about that a bit later.
Okay, that sounds good. Jumping to like now, as a data analyst, what at your current role, what does your typical day look like, and what types of tools and softwares do you use?
Sure. Like my day in life as a data analyst now, it looks like I have an opportunity to work across the whole data life cycle now. And being in a I'm currently working in a consulting industry. So with how the consulting industry works is we have like different client across like whole industry. It would be like manufacturing, healthcare, and also I have that opportunity to work across all the clients, and it also allows me to work across the different data life cycle of like data engineering to data analyst to being a data scientist. So like my typical day really looks like working with different clients. Project that would be, for some client I would be like building like a data pipeline, creating the infrastructure for data warehouse. Similarly for other client, like we have passed that stage, and currently I'm on like analyzing their data to present into more insights, like that would be that can be like driven to make like their business decision making with that insights. And like for some clients, we're in the predictive stage, where I build like predictive models for our clients to like predict their new leads coming in of customers, new revenue that's coming in. So I think that's it's typically based across like the whole data life cycle, I would say.
It sounds like some of the work that you do, like building pipelines, like predicting model, it sounds very much of like a combination of data scientist and data engineer. And I know that
True.
you've like done both of those roles. How would you differ the responsibilities as a data analyst to data scientist and data engineer?
Sure. So like each role focuses on like different aspects. So in terms of like difference, I would say like all the three roles, they are like leveraging data, but the key difference would be like focus for each role. So while I worked as a data scientist, like I've like heavily focused on like advanced analytics, building like predictive models, statistical modeling to derive like insights and like prediction for our like customers. So it was basically so the data scientist role is basically how you transform the data into like more business strategies, whereas like data engineering role is more of like the backbone of the data, where you have to understand the pipeline and build the pipeline, and even like create like a infrastructure where you have to like building a data warehouse. Data engineering role like it's mostly concentrated on like building the like a clean workflow where like data analysts or data scientists can get the data from to work on it. And talking about data analyst role, it's morely um, combination of, I would say, like technical foundation and business strategy. So like as a data analyst, you would be having that data, you would be analyzing it, but you would also be making like a business impact in terms of like how that insights and analysis you have done is helping the stakeholders make their business decision. So I think that's I would say like the key difference with like three different positions I've worked with.
Okay. And like as a data person myself, I know that like even like when I'm talking to my friends about like classwork and such, we like use like like we have like our own like data language that like we like it's like so easy for us to like communicate in. But as like someone who's not a data person and like a stakeholder or a client,
Mhm.
how do you communicate complex data outcome to them?
Yeah, sure. So I think I would like just like to like present my slide on this one, because I think that would be
Okay.
really, yeah,
Yes,
helpful
sure.
for our earlier question and this question. So
Please
just,
go ahead.
yeah, give me a moment. I'll just
Okay.
share my screen. Okay. Do let me know if my screen comes up.
Yep, it does.
Okay. Sure. So this is like I just created like a basic informational series for like like data professionals that is very useful in long run. And I wouldn't say just like for data professional, there are like some skills that are very important in this corporate world too. And even like when you're, even if you're like student, this would be very helpful for you. So like if you're anyone who's like diving into like this profession of data, I would say the fundamental skills that are really necessary are like your obviously your technical skills, that like hands down that is needed in the field of data. The other two I would like to like really stress much is like a problem solving skill and strategic thinking and business sense. So like for like technical skills, I wouldn't want to like dive more in like in detail, because like everyone knows how important technical skills would be. And like I would say like if you're like an early professional, you should like start with SQL, and SQL is like a very important like technology that is required in the field of data. So I've just like included like a link for like data camp for all of the like SQL, Python, and Tableau or Power BI, because what I feel like, because when I started as a like non-programming, this data camp really helped me a lot in terms of understanding the basic. And even like the data camp has that like interactivity, where you code side by side in terms of like learning the syntax. So like for a starter, this would be like really helpful for anyone who's like just starting. There are even like intermediate course too, which you can like take. And I believe like mostly the courses in data camp are free. So these like all the introduction are free to use. Um, so yeah, just like a disclaimer on that. And regarding like technical skills, yes, SQL is very important in terms of like data wrangling, whereas like you have to like clean your data, which can also be done in SQL and Python, and mostly the data analysis part is done in Python. So I think that I would say like Python and SQL is the most important skill that you should like start learning on if you're like in your early career. And once you are like done with the data analysis, there is a point where you have to present that to stakeholders, and you cannot just like show your code and bar graph there or like visualization there. So I think Tableau or Power BI would be a great platform for everyone to use in terms of like presenting their data insights to stakeholders. And the other one would be problem solving skills. So yeah, like when you work in like a corporate world, or even you're like if you're doing project, there would be like very ambiguous questions. So like let's take an example. If you have been like asked by your manager to analyze why there have been like a monthly customer user declining in our business. Let's say you have like a product business, and your manager asks you to like find the root cause of it and provide some recommendation in your like next meeting. So then usually what I used to do was I used to like get straight ahead into the data and try to like figure out what's going on, and that would like take me hours into diving into that data, and but still do not have like a narrative answer where I can like present that to my like stakeholders or my manager. So what I then started working is like breaking that ambiguous questions into like smaller question, like this, like we have this big ambiguous question of like finding out why the monthly user is declining, and then we would like segregate that into smaller questions. Then we would look at the data, and looking at the data we would get that insight for that specific questions. Then we would like present that to our business, we would present that to our like stakeholders as a business recommendation. So then like we have this big ambiguous question of why is the monthly user declining. Then we like break it down into like different question, that is like what's the impact sizing, like how long have we been seeing this decline, and what is the size of the user decline. Is it like very significant decline, or like just like a spike of a decline. Then I would like break it into like geography, like are we seeing this in a global level, like whole, like let's say US region, or just on a specific market in like different states, or like Midwest area or East or West Coast. Then I will be like breaking that down into seasonality or trends, like did we see this decline last year too around the same time, or is it like a recurring pattern related to seasonality or something like that. And then like this is how we break down, like is there any external factors, like are there any new competitor in the market that like have similar products to our, and did they like have like a new features in their product or not, or if there was like internal factors of like was there anything in our system that like broke down causing to user declining, and like was there any age group that we're seeing like a significant decrease in. So this is how I break like into smaller questions of that ambiguous question, and then only start looking into the data. So that from that, it would be really helpful for me to actually know what I'm trying to solve here. So and then once we have like figured out all the data analysis we have done in terms of like presenting that to a non-technical people, I would always go about with this top-down communication. It's like something that we really use in our consulting space is how we present it to our non-technical people and our stakeholders. Like, as I said earlier, how communication is very important here. So like I would start about by like, if I were to like present it to my stakeholder, I would start about by saying the key answer, like, yeah, after the data analyst, we figured out the user decline started from like, let's say July 2024, which was like really correlated with the new competition that happened. And there was like a certain user decline. So this is the key message we would like to start with, and then go below with the supporting argument saying that after the data analysis we have done, we figured out like the competitor launched a new feature that was like similar to our product, and they even provided like an offering in that product. Let's say like the monthly subscription for like 3 months was like below what we were offering. So that automatically led our customers to be like, to go to our competitors' product. And other supporting argument can be like, there was like a decline in our similar product in the whole US region, and specifically around this age 40 to 55 group. And then once we have that supporting our argument, we then provide them with the supporting data or like facts that we have done. That is like through our data analysis, there might be like bar graph or whatever like visualization we have used to support that data fact. So I think this is how I would go about with presenting that to our like stakeholders. And always like know what and why we are trying to solve is very important. And I think that would really make us stand out in terms of like, if you're like in your early career, if you're looking for a job hunt, and if you're like looking for a job, it's not just your technical skills that would stand, but also your problem solving skill, and being able to think strategically really helps you stand out among other your competition, I would say. And in terms of like strategic thinking and business sense, we as like a data analyst or someone in the data professional should always know like how we are able to change that data into some actionable insights, so that like business stakeholders can use that information into their decision making. And as I said earlier, always think about the what and why question, because that's really important in terms of giving you like the purpose of finding out what you're actually doing. You should know your like key problem you're trying to like find out, your key objective, what the stakeholder is looking for, and to find out the purpose in terms of like what you're doing with this data analysis. And I would always say to like someone to always step out of their comfort zone and talk with their teammates, because I have been doing this like uh, recently, and also in my like previous jobs as well, to like talk with teammates from like different department. I've like recently talked with my like marketing department in knowing how what are the works they do, how our like the data analysis that our team does really helps the marketing team in terms of presenting that to our clients. So I think that is very important for everyone to understand like how things at your company works, and that is how you can be able to know the purpose and like basically work on building like an insights or actions from your data analysis. And I would also say like knowing how the company works really helps you focus like on the key objective or business goal from like start to finish, and you just wouldn't uh like dwell into the sea of data as I used to be in the beginning of my career. So I think moving forward, like with my like career progression, this is something I have like learned. And obviously I wouldn't say like anyone would be like uh be able to learn this like just after this session, because it's something like it comes through practice, and I'm still learning on this. So but however, I also wanted to like present on how you should always think of what and why questions before you try to solve the data analysis part. So I think, yeah, that was something I really wanted to share in terms of like skills that are really required for data professional apart from like the technical skills. So yeah, I think that would be all from my end.
Thank you so much for sharing that presentation. That was a very insightful presentation. Like really like dives deep into like how it's really done, like once you're like in the role and outside of like a student, like getting into like professional role, what happens, how you tackle a problem. That was like the example I really liked. Like, thank you so much for sharing.
Sure.
So I guess like some of the things that I want to like talk now is your how was it like for you to like find a job that you are right now, or even like not, if not this one, but like fresh out of like graduate, like how was your experience with like job hunt, interviews,
Yeah.
some challenges, any advices for those who are also a student right now?
Sure. Um, yeah, I've been in that place, and I know it's like really stressful and really hard with this current market going on. But yeah, when I started as a fresh graduate, I really focused on more like, quantitative job applying rather than qualitative, because I was like like even us like being an international student, it's like really hard for us to, get into that corporate job as like a starter. And I really felt that even now also I really feel like it's really hard for us to like, find like a new job in terms of like how we international students have to go about with the sponsoring of the work visa and all. But yeah, I would really like to start by saying like when you like figure out what you want to do, like in terms of which field you want to go in terms like, because I have like an experience working in this consulting space. Like I worked as a data scientist, data engineer, and now as a data analyst in this consulting space. So now I know like what skills would shine in terms of this consulting space. So I would like morely focus on that area. But having said that, I feel like one should know where you want to go in terms of like the industry. Let's say if you want to go into like a health sector industry, then I would say like have 1 to 2 projects regarding the health sector data that you can talk about in your interviews, so that like, and you can like not only just the project, but you also have to like kind of as I said earlier, the what and why question. You should like find a purpose of why you are doing that, and then you should have like a measurable results of what that project really helps, what that project has really helped into having that measurable result. So I think, yeah, and once you know like the purpose or your field where you want to go, then I would say like, yeah, tailoring your resume and cover letter is, as everyone says, is very important, because like it shouldn't be like more of a general resume and cover letter when you want to stand out among other job applicants. So you should like kind of tailor it based on the roles and responsibilities that you're applying for. So let's say if you're working on like applying for that health sector industry, have like most of that project listed. And if you're working like applying for like, let's say, consulting space, you would have like a different projects that you want to like highlight about. And other thing I would really like to mention is just go to that networking event. Networking is like so much important. And I really say like networking is so much important, because like networking was one of the reason I was able to secure this current position that I'm like working as a senior data analyst. So that is really helpful for you. Not like networking shouldn't be like it would like give you like a job offer, or it would like place you in a stage of like hiring. But I think networking really helps even for you to improve your communication skills. That really helps you in your own personal and professional growth. Stepping out of that comfort zone, meeting new peoples, like talking about how their work looks like, and having that starter of that networking really helps anyone who is like in their early career in this data professional. And also, like, networking doesn't like just mean like going to the networking event, the tech event, but also like networking through like LinkedIn. We have this like LinkedIn as a very nice platform for us to like connect with the professionals. So I really would like take this advantage of LinkedIn to, you know, send like a cold mail or like cold text message to the hiring manager or like anyone that's working in the company that you would like to apply for. I even did that when I was like as an early fresher, when I was like looking for a job. I used to like send an email or like email to the hiring team, or even like LinkedIn DM message like saying, hi, this is Diksha, and I really came across your profile while I was like looking at this company. And then you just don't have to like start with saying, hey, can you give me a referral, because that would be like too like that would be like not nice to like just start off with,
Mm-hmm.
hey, can you give me a referral? So just like start by having like a small conversation on like, you know, I was looking at this company and I'm like really like intrigued with the position with this. I would really like to know more on uh like how the company culture works, similar to that question, how the team works. That would really help to have that kind of relationship with with the like person from the company that you're wanting to apply to. And then after that communication, that other person would also be knowing you and would be willing to like uh, offer you like a referral for the position you would really want to apply to. So I think like networking is very much important in this current market. And in terms of like application and interview process, as I said earlier, like take some time to reflect on yourself, on what are the sectors you would like to really work on, and then like start working on like projects and building portfolio. So like in an early career, I really feel portfolio is very much important for you to like stand out, because like it would really show your technical skills, not just your technical skills, but it will also show your like problem solving and, you know, the strategic business thinking I was talking about earlier, the what and why question, and how you are able to present that into like a measurable action through your project is very much important. And I think one tip I would like to give everyone here who's like looking to dive into this data profession would be, in your resume, try to have that measurable action also listed. Like if you have done some project, what has the impact been, like, you know, what is the result from it? So that really helps in terms of, you know, having your resume looked over by the hiring team. That was, I think, some of the feedbacks that I usually used to get when I was like started, like when I was like starting to work with this my job hunt journey.
Thank you so much. That's very useful. Also for even like student, as like I am a student as well. It's really because I do attend the networking events, but
Yeah,
I guess like something that I do struggle with is like how to build a relationship after attending the networking event. Like we
yeah,
connect on LinkedIn, but what's next? I will definitely try sending a cold message and see how that goes for me. But
yeah.
that is a good tip. That is a good tip.
Sure. Yeah, I think that would be like great to, it'll just build up your confidence and your
Yeah.
communication skills too, in terms of how you approach with people, how you put together your words, or like how you are trying to, like how you put together your communication skills more effectively to the other person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you did mention asking for a referral. Do you mind talking more about like how to go on about asking a referral? When is the right time, and if
Mhm.
referrals help make you stand out as an applicant?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So yeah, as I said earlier, how I usually like used to DM in like, I used to send like a LinkedIn DM on um that. And like, you know, like once you have like started that conversation, obviously if you've applied to 100 of people, you're not like, there wouldn't be guarantee like all of the people would be replying to you. So there would be like, it's just like giving a chance of, you know, you don't know who might be able to like help you. It's always like taking that opportunity, and you don't know where that opportunity comes from. So always step yourself forward in terms of like, you know, that networking thing, and then you can like look after like few of the conversation you have, like because you would like tend to know after you start that conversation like how interested the other person is to like help you in terms of your career journey. And even I even used to say that when I like started as a fresher, like this is like I've like I'm just like a fresh graduate and I'm looking to step into this corporate world, and I would like really appreciate if you could like share me some of your tips and advice when you like started applying, like as you were as a fresher. So that's how it would like connect them to their time of how they used to apply, and then how much of the struggles they have faced. I think having that conversations, few of the questions you would want to ask about the company cultures, about the team you would like to go to, and how they support in their like profession, how the company supports in professional development. uh, Start by having like some of that conversation, and then once you have like 2 to 3 like a very like good conversation, and you feel like the other person on that end is also like you know taking that time to help you and like reply to you with like a set of answers and on how to go about, then you can like ask about if you would mind, or like if you're like willing, would you be able to like refer me to this position, like specific position at your company, because I'm like really intrigued with uh the vision or mission of the company. And you can like say about like how it really aligns with your personal or professional motto or your moral. So I think that's how you can go about with the referral thing.
Okay, that I'll keep that on my mind.
Sure.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we could move more into like the industry insights. Um, so I know that like usually like when you're a grad student, you're given like an option of like either going into like academia or staying in academia or like branching out to industry, like you're in corporate yourself. What made you like choose to go with like the corporate industry versus staying in academia? And yeah, like basically like what made you like pick one over the other?
Hmm. Sure. So to be honest, I really didn't have that option, to like go into academia or industrial corporate as like a fresher, because I was like I need to get a job. I like, because we have this like time frame of like 60 days where your unemployment days
Mhm.
doesn't count. But here I would like to say that when I like worked as a business analyst back in Nepal, I knew that whatever field I would like to go on, I would like to be able to make an impact. And then it's not that I didn't think of going in the academia area or the industry, because I felt like my purpose to the industrial sector was something that really aligned on how I would be able to add an impact to different clients. And I was someone who really believed in adding value to the people around me. So, and the reason I there was like different industry sectors I really felt about going, but I really was more into this consulting space, because like, yeah, as we know, like we would have like a different clients, and being able to add value to different clients within like different industry background was something I was really excited about. And I think that's where I found my purpose of thinking like, okay, I would like to go in this consulting space, and I would like start to apply on that area more, and like providing more qualitative my resume and cover, like tailoring my resume and cover letter based on that. So I think that's how I go like went about choosing like industrial like corporate sector than the academia.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. I feel like the jobs that I've applied to as well, like there's like more of requirement for academia. I feel like even like with like job application and stuff, I feel like it's a bit more like not to say that it's like a well, how do I like put this in words? But like I've seen that like most of the academia jobs like they usually require like more materials from you
Mhm.
compared to like industry, which I feel like I do agree that it's like more impactful in the way that you can see your work in a meaningful way more faster than in academia, I feel so.
True.
Yeah. Okay. So, what trends do you see shaping the future of data analysis? And if there's um, like any technologies or skills that you think will be more popular or more used? I know that like with like the programming language, like Python is like now more popular, but do you think it'll still stay like intact, or like if there's like any
Mm.
more skills or technologies that will take over in the future for data analysts?
Sure. I feel like the field of data analysis is always evolving like really rapidly. And um, yeah, there are different, like several key trends that are shaping and would also like shape the future with like, I feel like with the increased use of AI and machine learning in analysis, I think that's the like buzzword as of now. Every client I go to, they're all talking about AI and machine learning, AI and machine learning all the time. So I feel um, like this field of data analysis, it's evolving, and I'm not sure on like how different tools will like stay for long or not, but I do not have like a definite answer on that one. But I really feel like it's evolving, and the increased use of AI and machine learning in data analysis and being able to then have that into a derived decision making is something that's going to be that's going to stay for a while. So just like the future of data analysis, I feel now is more like into automation and how accessible the data is, like having the real-time data analysis is something that's like evolving, and that would be staying for a while. So anyone in this data professional should always like, what I feel is there is always continuous learning in this field, and I myself, I always feel like there's like so many things to learn and I don't know so much about this, and it always like drives me towards learning more and like staying up to date with the market, like the technologies that we have, the new insights we get, like just to keep adapting yourself is very much important in this like rapidly growing industry. Yeah.
Okay. This is a hot question, but I've
Mhm.
heard this many times that AI is going to take over our jobs. What are your thoughts? I mean, like as an experienced professional, do you believe that
uh,
is true, or is it just like, I don't know, hopeful?
uh, well, I like I'm not 100% sure on that one, but what I can say working this corporate field is yes, AI is there. That AI has like really helped us in being efficient, effective. It has really helped us in having automation, but what I do not think AI can do is like having that impactful insights, like how you are able to have that insightful impact into business strategy is something that is done by you and not AI. Although AI does help you in becoming more efficient in terms of like, let's say, uh, data analysis you are doing, but that soft skill of the problem solving ability and that strategic thinking of that business sense is something that's always like dependent on you, and I wouldn't think that part of that sector would something like AI would take over.
Yeah, I mean, this is like really a hard question. Like,
Yeah.
it's like talked about, especially because like ChatGPT and everything.
Yeah, I know. This is
Yeah.
like something that's going on. Like it's like a, yeah, topic that we always discuss on in our like work as well. But yeah, I think like working on it and uh having that work with my teammates, and
Mhm.
we're going where we're going about into like adding that company feature. I think like that's something as a soft skill that wouldn't be taken over by the AI.
I agree. I agree. Um, I think I am done with the questions. If any of you guys have a question, you can please drop it in the chat or even ask yourself. We can open the floor for Q&A from the audience now. And please feel free to drop a question in the chat or just ask as is.
Hi, so Diksha, so My question is regarding, so I believe most of the people here are international students. So
Mhm.
being as an international student, or this has your visa status been an issue during your job search process?
Yep, I think uh, yes, being an international student does make it like really hard for us to be in that market of during the job hunt, because many of the companies they haven't sponsored any international student before. They don't much know about it, and it's kind of like a lengthy process they have to go through in terms of like sponsoring. So that's when like company kind of hesitate on having international student. And then I have faced that a lot when I like was giving my interviews, after that first or second of interview, when I said like I need like a sponsorship for my work visa, and they said like, we're sorry, we cannot proceed ahead with you because like we do not sponsor. So I have like faced that issue numerous amount of time. And what I felt was, instead of spending much of my energy on the companies that do not sponsor, there is, I think, like a Chrome extension that has like a H1B, something like that. I don't quite remember on top of my head, but there is like a Chrome extension, and it usually filters out, like, in LinkedIn or Indeed, that which of the companies are, have like done H1B over like past, or work visa sponsorship over past. And then I would like used to focus, just like narrow down my job search to just that companies that does H1B, because I know this job searching process is like so daunting and so stressful. And then after like some period of time, I realized that I shouldn't be spending much of my time to the companies that do not sponsor, rather than focusing on the companies that do. So I think that's how I went about in terms of finding that particular companies that does.
That's, yeah, very interesting about the tool. I was not aware of, but yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's very interesting. But yeah, yeah, even I had to go through the same horrific experience
Yeah,
with my status previously. So yeah, thanks for your experience, sharing your experience.
sure. Yeah, thank you.
I have a couple of questions from the registration form. Uh, so most of them we did go over the questions, but a question here is which programming language should I learn, and how important is proficiency in Excel for a data analyst role? And also if you could recommend any YouTube channels or resources for learning the skills.
Sure. So if you're like early in your career and you are looking, like let's say if you're looking for a role in data analyst or data scientist, I would say like SQL and Python. Those two are the very important programming language that one should kind of know about. And then also in terms of like visualization, like it depends on company on what they use. Like some companies might use Tableau and Power BI, but it's not like hard to learn, when I like started learning like SQL, Python, and Tableau, it was, as I said earlier, it was basically from data camp. I like the foundation that I built was through data camp, where I was able to have that coding done side by side by learning into it. And the other thing I would like to really mention about is like, you can just like, for Tableau, you can just go about in like searching in YouTube like Tableau dashboard visualization. That's how actually I went about going on building my first 2 3 dashboards. There's like like the YouTube has like 20 to 30 minutes of like video, and it really shows you how to do the stuffs. And once you start doing it, it would like just take more practice. And there are like, also, I wouldn't say like those YouTube channels would make you like 100% proficient in it, because now even we're using Tableau for our data visualization, and there are like some of the like functions I still do not know about. And that's something that you learn when you like start working on the real world data. When you, it's not on the like, you'll be learning that on corporate side, but when you're doing like project, and there are like different things you would like to uh, like take about, that's how you learn like different functionalities of each of the programming language, I would say. And talking about like how important having proficiency in Excel is, I think like it is really nice to have Excel proficiency too, because like in my current work, like when my manager asks for like quick things of like, you know, finding out like let's say how many customers or how many users we have like from that current sector, it takes a bit of time to like, you know, go into like Python to do that or Tableau, but some of the functionalities there are done in Excel that's like pretty much quick, like the VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP thing that someone should be aware of. That's really helpful for having that, you know, quick data that if you want to provide it to your manager. So having that a bit of proficiency in Excel is also a good to have thing. And I'm not sure of like a YouTube channels that I would like recommend about, because I just used to like have I used to just like search it on YouTube on what are the projects like let's say with the Tableau that I wanted to do, and it was just like a random search. So I'm not I'm not quite sure on the YouTube resources to look for. However, like yes, for some of the people who are looking into this like interview series, there is like a like mock interview that you can find on YouTube. That's really like, I used to do like, you know, the big techs like Facebook PM mock interview where we have like, there is like a case study given and they actually go about on how they like solve that problem, on how what are the approaches they take. So that was something I really looked into, and that would be like really helpful for anyone who's in this job hunt process, because there would be some like case study interview or like take home case study analysis. So I think that would be really helpful for everyone here who's looking this job hunt process.
Okay. We have a question in the chat. Could you please share more about your job hunt journey in Nepal as a fresh graduate, internships and jobs?
Sure. In Nepal, I like right after I was done with my undergrad, I did like started applying jobs, and to be honest, networking was also a key when I applied to job in Nepal. I had like one of my senior from my high school that was working in the company, and then I talked with her on how the company culture were there over there, and like, you know, how the hiring process looked like. So she even like provided me, you know, this is how the hiring steps look like. The first would be your assessment test where you have to pass the maths and English test, and then it would be like a hiring team. Then again there would be another in-person interview where you have to like finish a set of questions, and then there would be like a final interview. So I was like kind of aware of the hiring process and what are the things I need to prep on. So yeah, always I feel like I'm currently not sure on how the job market in Nepal is, like, you know, how good or how bad it is, but always I would say like always like network with your seniors, your friends, or you know, anyone in the company that you are willing to work with, because referral does makes you a bit of, I wouldn't say it would like makes you stand out, but it is kind of an advantage there to have a referral out there, and then yeah, have your resume tailored as per the job responsibilities there. So I think yeah, that's how I went about, to be honest. And like in Nepal, there was like few of the jobs I applied to, and that's how I took the process for applying to it.
Thank you for answering the question. If we have any more questions that you'd like to ask to Diksha, since we are hitting close to an hour, if you guys, okay, well, we have a question. Remote job ideas.
Is it like for Nepal or? I'm not sure, but yeah, in terms of like remote job ideas, currently in this job market, I do not feel there are like more remote jobs than it used to be back then in the pandemic thing. Mostly the companies that are now transitioning into either like hybrid or in person. But I'm not sure on how much remote jobs are available now, but as per my experience working in this like corporate world, where I also worked as like a remote employee and in person, I really feel having that hybrid culture, you know, where you get to meet your team members and learn from them is also very important. So yeah, this is kind of a bit of away from the question that was asked, but yeah, just wanted to point out on that.
Thank you again. If you don't have any more questions, I'd like to wrap this session up. And thank you so much for being here and for this wonderful session. This session was really informational. I learned so much, like even like, because you were once a student and then like having like come from like a student to like an actual professional, like the journey that you shared is very inspiring. Thank you so much for being here and answering all of my questions and all of our questions too, and just for giving us your time.
Sure, yeah, thank you for having me. It was really fun to like and be able to actually add value to you people in sharing my experience and some tips. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much again. And to the rest of you guys, have a good night, have a good morning. Okay, well, I'll see you guys in the next sessions. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.